Hi, this is Outdoor Gear Guy. Today I'm going to be talking about Michael Tyler's Walking Thru. The author, Mike Tyler, took a major risk by sacrificing everything familiar in his life for the possibility of not finishing the Pacific Crest Trail by getting injured or incapacitated partway through. The author, Mike Tyler, decided to hike the Pacific Crest Trail after a diagnosis that his knee was on its last leg. Pun intended. One major challenge of the Pacific Crest Trail through hike is that you need 5 uninterrupted months to complete it. Since Mike was retired, he had fewer commitments than the rest of us, or most of us. Mike convinced his wife to take 6 months off work to accompany him. He assured his wife that he would do whatever physical training necessary was to make the hike successful, including wearing a knee brace. His wife was anxious to quit her job, but Mike assured her that unemployment was at historic lows. They moved their possessions into storage. They decided they wanted to move somewhere else besides the suburb that they had been living in for many years after the hike concluded. The funniest parts of Walking Thru. Number 1, Mike's wife Margot was given the trail name Werewolf because she commented about bunny rabbits on the trail looking delicious. Number 2, a European man with the trail name Ranch decided to sleep in his tent pole tent with the poles removed because he said the noise of the wind was keeping him awake, and it was quieter with the poles removed. Number 3, later on the trail, when someone offered Mike a Stone IPA after a hot day of hiking, Mike developed this quote: "That beer lit up the pleasure center in my amygdala like a Christmas tree." Number 4, Mike felt energized after drinking a jar of pickle juice, even though he thought it would come up the same way it went down. Number 5, Tommy from Denmark said that hiking all day and sleeping outside every night of the summer felt amazing, but later admitted that once he completed the Pacific Crest Trail, he would never sleep outside ever again once he got back to Europe. Number 6, oatmeal is usually available in resupply boxes because hikers get so sick of it over time. Number 7, Mike and Margot were running out of food. They decided to parse through the bear boxes on the trail to see if other people left any food behind, which basically meant eating other people's garbage for 5 days straight. Unfortunately, a park ranger left a note in the bear boxes asking people to not leave food behind. Margot said she felt lucky. She ended up finding a 1-pound bag of macaroni and some cheese powder in a bear box. Number 8, if you see a person with a smart water bottle and a Sawyer filter, you've identified a member of the hiker tribe. Number 9, Mike was contorting his face when confronted with the prospect of eating the same freeze-dried dinners again. Be sure to send a variety of meals to your resupply boxes, otherwise you are stuck with a few options like ramen noodles that keep reappearing at the town groceries. Number 10, Margot looked dejected when 2 vending machines wouldn't dispense either ice cream bars nor potato chips after trying every dollar bill in both her wallet and from Mike's wallet. Number 12, Mike chose to eat the hiker trash burger that includes 1 pound of meat and a portion of French fries that could feed 3 to 4 people. Mike ended up next to a dumpster heaving. Mike was so nauseous that it was difficult for him to stand up straight. He recognized that it was not his finest hour. He looked like a homeless person with his huge beard growing next to a dumpster in a parking lot. Number 13, Duck Soup Lake. That is not the crystal clear water of a mineral spring that you usually prefer. Duck Soup Lake was cloudy, nasty water. Number 14. When you're sitting on the ground, there's always something poking your butt. So that's where you may want one of those 1/4-inch small pieces of foam. Some parallels that I noticed from other Pacific Crest Trail books: water is scarce, and running out of water is a danger for thru hikers. Rattlesnakes show up every so often, so you need to be attentive so as to not step on one. Now for the biggest disasters that Mike and Margot ran into on the Pacific Crest Trail in Walking Thru. Number 1, spilling olive oil from inside of their pack, all over their tent, all over their clothes, and they ended up on a beach with a dead rattlesnake on which to dry their gear. Then they had to walk 3 miles in the dark after their longest day on the trail in order to get to a campsite where they felt safer, only to arrive in the dark with gear that still needed to dry out. Number 2, Mike got an infected cyst on his back as a result of soaking in a motel hot tub. When Michael had his cyst lanced, the pus shot 4 or 5 feet away, and the nurses gasped. The doctors squeezed the pus out of Michael's cyst while Michael whimpered. Michael and Margot, aka Werewolf, had to take 2 days in a motel for the cyst to heal while taking antibiotics and while having his wife help him squeeze the pus out of his cyst every few hours. Number 3, Mike experienced worse sunburn than usual on his neck in the desert because of the side effects he was experiencing from his antibiotics, but he had to continue taking his antibiotics to prevent the risk of the cyst infection on his back returning. Number 4, while Michael had sent microspikes to his resupply box before Kenneth Meadows, Margot had planned to buy some. The one outfitter in town appeared, quote unquote, morally opposed, end quote, to selling them. Many other hikers brought ice axes and crampons to better contend with hiking in the snow-covered mountains. They decided to order the equipment online and wait in the small town until the UPS truck arrived because they couldn't hike in the snowy mountains without the additional gear from Margot. They didn't bring ice axes to save weight, but their choice was more dangerous. Without ice axes, you could easily slide off the mountain and fall onto sharp rocks to your death. Number 5, Mike was bit on the neck by a bee. Thankfully, Tommy was able to provide him with antihistamines, and Margot was able to remove the stinger from Mike's neck with tweezers. Number 6, Mike's hands were exposed to poodle bush from touching a walking stick that came out of a free hiker box. That made his hands swell up. It took at least 3 days for Mike's hands to return to their normal size. Number 7, Tommy took off 5 months to complete the Pacific Crest Trail, but Tommy had to quit after a month and a half because his knees started bothering him. This was disappointing for Mike because Tommy was fun to hike with, but also because it showed that anyone could have to head home early if their health took a turn for the worse. These have been both the funniest and the most disastrous parts from Walking Thru by Michael Tyler. I look forward to your questions and comments.